Hey, I'm Mike Cerrone, and this is the Referral Mastermind call. If you're here to watch that, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to talk about the list, categories to organize your PCSOI database. We're also going to talk about the Referral Probability Ranking, which I think you're going to find really interesting. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me pull these slides up for you. And there we are. So that should work well for you. All right, again, welcome to the Referral Mastermind call. Topic today is the list, categories to organize your database, your PCSOI database, to maximize your referrals. And so here's the big question. How do you organize your list of PCSOI, your past clients and sphere of influence, into categories so that you can prioritize your time and resources so that you spend those with the people who are most likely to send you a referral, right? So that's a big ask, and we're going to go through that today and show you how you can do it. All right, on our last call, we talked about how you can build out or expand, if you currently have, your list of PCSOI, again, your past clients and sphere of influence, and we answered these 6 questions on building that list. Who goes on the list? What info to collect? Where to find it, where to store it, why maintain it, and how to expand it. And if you missed it, be sure to watch the last Referral Mastermind call replay. You know where that's at. All right, again, my name is Mike Cerrone. I'm happy to be here with you today for the Referral Mastermind call. And the format of the mastermind is simple. At the beginning, I'm going to share a new referral idea or concept for a few minutes, and then we're going to open up for Q&A, comments, and brainstorming. So be ready for that. As I'm talking, go ahead and feel free to type in your questions into the chat or the comments section. Those questions, by the way, can be on the topic we're talking about today or anything related to real estate agent referrals from past clients or sphere of influence. All right, before we start, a quick 20-second announcement. This call is being sponsored by the Referral Masters group inside of eXp Realty. However, Referral Masters or However, we're not going to be talking about Referral Masters or eXp Realty on this call. If you have questions about the Referral Masters or eXp Realty after this call, go back to the person who invited you and tell them you want to learn more. All right, now back to the show. We like to start off with the Inspirational Minute. And as you may know, what we're trying to answer here is, do referral-based real estate practices really work? So here's our Inspirational Agent of the day. We've got Daniel Del Real. He thinks that most agents have databases that are too big. And he also thinks that agents waste a lot of time and money on strangers. Daniel is very selective about who goes into his database and who stays in it, so he clears it out quite often. He's not afraid to remove names of people who are not referring him business. He only wants to invest his time and efforts with people who believe in him and send him referrals. So Daniel believes it's better to have 100 people in his database who are actively referring him business rather than 1,000 people who may or may not. A few years ago, Daniel stopped advertising. Okay, that's how he had started, but he stopped advertising and he redirected all his money into improving the relationships with the people in his database. The result, his pared down list of 800 people, that year he received 160 closed referrals, right? That's a 20% PPP, PCSOI, productivity percentage. There we go. PCSOI productivity percentage, or PPP. In total, he sold 196 homes that year. So his number one source of business was his PCSOI. Repeating referrals is 80% of his business. And so do referral-based practices work? Yes, they really do. And if you want to hear Daniel's full story, listen to his success call, podcast number 8 at mastermindagent.com. I think you'll enjoy it. All right, let's get back to our hot topic. How do you organize your list of PCSOI, your past clients and sphere of influence, into categories so that you can prioritize your time and resources and spend those with the people who are most likely to send you a referral? That's the big question of the day. So let's get into it. first you want to organize your list. I assume now you have a list, and now we're going to organize it. So after you build out your list, enter it into a CRM, a contact relational management software, or a spreadsheet, or a paper notebook, whatever system you're using, that's fine. We prefer CRMs, but you can use others. Now, once you have them in there, you can start sifting and sorting them to find out the best ones. You're going to use labels to help you do that. So you want to add categories or tags to each person's contact record. And the reason is so that you have different marketing campaigns and different levels of engagement that can be assigned based on the probability of receiving a referral. Okay, so I think that's pretty exciting. You're going to change your engagement level based on the probability of receiving a referral from this person. The higher the referral probability of the person, the more involvement from you. And that's going to be in the form of reach outs, invitations, marketing, gifts, FaceTime, etc. All right, let's get into this referral probability. How can you tell if a person will refer you, their friends, family, and acquaintances? Well, we've created this referral probability ranking. Actually, we've taken it from other people, from the top agents, and we've just organized it. We've organized it from best to worst. All right, so here we go. Number one, the best group of people is people who have referred you in the past. These people are proven referrers or advocates of you. They're at the top of your list. Okay, there's almost 100% probability that they're going to refer again. These are really sharp people, and you want to stay in touch with them. Number two, the next group is they hired you before, right? They're past clients. They believe in you enough to hire you. They know that you do a great job. They've experienced your service. And because of that, they're likely to refer their friends and family. All right, next group is they like you, and you think that they will hire or refer you. Okay, so you know each other, they like you, and you think they are going to hire or refer you in the future. The next group is that you know each other, but you have no clue whether they would hire you or refer you. You just don't know. It's an unknown at this point. And the next group is you don't like each other. Okay, there's a group of people you just don't like. They will never hire you or refer you, and you will never want to work with them either. This is usually a mutual dislike of one another for whatever reason. You need to have this category because these could be past clients. They could be family members or friends or past friends or whatever, but you want to rank them or label them correctly so that you don't spend any time with these folks. So you're obviously not going to want to. All right, these probability rankings now become your category labels, your tags, and also your grouping inside of your CRM. You're going to spend, again, more time and effort with the people on the top of the referral probability ranking than the people at the bottom. The people at the top have probably 100% probability of referring you. The people at the bottom probably have a 0% probability of referring you, and that's why we want to rank them. Let's talk about the ABCDs. We're going to go through, again, these categories a little deeper and what they mean. You're going to have a category A. These are people who are at the top of the list. So these people are those folks that have referred you in the past, these referrers and advocates. Also in your A group are people who have hired you in the past, your past clients. So those people move all the way up into a special category A. Next, you've got category B. Now, these are people, they like you, and you think they're going to hire or refer you in the future if given the opportunity. And again, this is a gut feeling, but you know how your relationship is with them. Do you think that they would send you a referral or hire you in the future? If so, they're going in category B. Category C, these are people who you know each other, but you have no idea whether they would hire you or whether they would refer you. It's unknown at this point. It's neither positive or negative. It's just neutral. So that's category C. And then we've got category D. These are people who are dead to you, right? So like in, I think it's Shark Tank, where you've got O'Leary, he goes out there, Mr. Wonderful, and he says, "You're dead to me." These are the kind of people that are in that category. You don't like each other. They're never going to hire you. You never want to work with them. However, you do want to keep these people in your CRM. I recommend that you do not delete them because you want to remember that you had this hiccup. Your database is going to grow. You may forget. You don't want to accidentally add them again in the future. And there's another reason. You want to pull them out and put them on the side so they don't taint the group of people you do want to work with. I don't want you to have a hang up about going through your list because you're worried about Jill or Jack that are in there that you don't like. And that's why we're going to have this category D. All right, let's talk about the AA bonus category. Remember, let's go back to category A. What is category A? These are people who have referred you in the past, and they're referrers or advocates, also people who have hired you before, past clients. And some of the top agents, they like to make another more exclusive group with an even higher probability of sending you a referral, and they put them above the A's. And that group becomes your AA category. And the people who are in there are people who have referred you in the past 12 months. Okay, there's a time element now. These are people who have referred you in the past 12 months, or they've hired you in the past 12 months. Okay, so this goes to the law of recency. The law of recency, which basically is that since they have repeated or referred with you recently, they're more likely to do it again, right? They move themselves up to the top. So you could have a AA category and you would treat them differently. All right, now let's go into this concept of a core marketing plus. This is a great way to organize your marketing efforts based on these categories that we've created, and a lot of the top agents are doing it this way. So let's go through it. The next step is to make a core marketing plan for the C category. Okay, that's your category where you're not sure whether they're going to do anything or not. This is your base program that you're going to send out to everybody on the list, C and above. So C's, B's, A's, and AA's. This is the core or base marketing plan. B people are going to get everything in that C plan plus a little extra, okay? Because they're a little closer to you, more likely to refer. A people are going to get everything on the B plan plus a little extra on top of that. And your AA people will get everything in the A plan plus a little extra on top of that. This simplifies your marketing approach so you always know what you're doing. And as long as you send out your core marketing plan, you've got everybody covered, at least at the base level. And then you're going to invest your time more with, and those were the C's. Now you're going to invest your time more with the B's and the A's and the A pluses. Okay. And what you do, I'm sure you're curious, what Mike am I going to do, say, or send or give to these folks in these categories? And we're going to be talking about that in a future call. So that's coming up. But I want you to have this big picture first of what we're doing. We've got this list now. Now we've categorized it into the rankings so we know who to spend the most time with. Those AA's, if you only have a few minutes in the day, go all the way to the top of the list and work with your AA's. Forget about the A's, B's, and C's. Go all the way to the top, right? Okay, so that's the other reason to do this. It's prioritizing your time. You should always start with the AA's, A's, and then work your time down into B's and C's as is necessary. All right, let's go through. You're probably wondering about an example of how this Core Marketing Plus works. And if you want to, one of the best examples of Core Marketing Plus that I've seen and how it relates to these AA's, A's, B's, C's, and D categories was spelled out in the Solo Agent World podcast. That's the Solo Agent World podcast. That's our new podcast, episode number 8 with Bryce Fisher. Bryce Fisher, and that was Solo Agent World podcast, episode 8. Check that out on mastermindagent.com. It's really awesome. Bryce, amazingly, lucky for us, he just spells it all out. He explained exactly what all of his categories are, how he defines them, and then he goes into what he does for each category. So if you want to jump ahead, this is a great way to do it. Go check out that Solo Agent World podcast number 8. All right, now let's open up for Q&A, comments, brainstorming. Let's have a little fun here. So if you have questions, go ahead and type them into that chat, that comment box. Give us your comments, your ideas. Let's mastermind. Let's share some ideas and concepts. I want to hear your thoughts, right? What are you thinking about? Can you see how this strategy of taking your list and dividing it up and prioritizing can help you double your referral closings? Or do you think this is full of hooey and it's not going to work at all? If that's true, go ahead and put that over there in the comments. All right, type your thoughts into the chat or comment section. And again, it could be, let's open it up. It could be on any referral idea that you would like us to share or talk about, either something mentioned today or any referral concept that you would like us to talk about. While you're doing that, let's go ahead and go through and talk about a posting that we had in the Referral Mastermind. If you're not part of the Referral Mastermind, you want to get in there. There's some powerful people in there with great ideas and concepts, and they're sharing, and you should get in there and check it out. Let's look at Nick Elko. He gave us this great idea for happy hour events, and you'll understand as we go through. I'm going to read what he posted. He said, Mike, I host a monthly network event at a local restaurant. It's a different venue, i.e. 1 month it's sushi, the next month it's Italian. He tries to mix it up. As an example, this December will be at a local casino, which will give free casino play for toy and food donations. He says, usually I sponsor it with a lender referral partner, and we keep it light, not formal, have door prizes, etc. We typically invite businesses because their employees in these homes too, friends and past clients. It provides a great opportunity to cross-promote the sphere and stay on top of mind with very little cost. And he'd be happy to share the details with us in the group, which he starts to do, and I'm going to go into it in a second. And if interested, he says, hey, give him a ring. All right. So, and by the way, he also says, hey, have a great day. Thanks again for launching this forum. And Nick, I'm happy that you're with us. Thank you so much for sharing. And this is a lot of fun. I do want to do the follow-up that we have with Nick. We also had in the forum, in the Referral Mastermind. And he says, Mike, I asked him the question, are you doing this for lunch? When are you doing this? And he said, Mike, I tried lunch networking, but I found it difficult to get people to attend. I prefer happy hour from 5 to 7. He said attendance varies between 25 and 50 people, but larger events like the Christmas casino idea that he just shared, he'll have up to 100 people. More importantly, it gives him a reason to call his entire sphere without being salesy. I want to read that again. That is the whole point of why you do events. More importantly, it gives me a reason to call my entire sphere without being a sales call. That is why the top agents have moved towards events over the last decade, because they know they have to stay in touch with their PCSOI, but they don't want to just call up and beg for business. So this way is a beautiful, easy way to stay top of mind, get in front of people, invite them to the event. Whether they show up or not, they got the invitation, and now you're in communication with them, and they're thinking about you in a great way too. All right, so he goes on. The cost is $200. He's doing these events for $200 with gift cards to the place hosting the event. Those gift cards are given away as door prizes. In exchange for the gift card purchases, the venue typically agrees to provide a light appetizer. Okay, it's not a soup kitchen, right? So it's a nice place. There's a cash bar for those that want to drink. Typically, his lender partner and he will split the $200. But also in the past, they've had it sponsored by referral partners like photographers, contractors, title companies, etc. And all promotion is word of mouth, social media, and flyers that are sent with MailChimp, the email autoresponder. And isn't this an awesome idea? If you think it is, let us know in the comments. And I really appreciate Nick for sharing this idea with us. This idea of these happy hour events is something you might want to put into your mix. All right, let's go back up to the Q&A and see if we had any questions that popped in. Kim, did we have any questions that popped in today?
No questions in the chat. I got a question and private message from Jeff, and he just asked, how fluid should the list be, and how often should somebody update their list and rework their categories?
Great. So that's a great question. So Jeff, thank you for asking the question. Jeff said, hey, these ideas, this idea of the category sounds good to me. How often do you go in and clean up this list? How often do you organize the list? Great question. And I think the answer is this: at a minimum, you have to do it annually. You have to do it annually. The people I've talked to, they go through usually in December or the end of the year. They go through, they reorganize their list, they clean it up for the upcoming year. That's also, by the way, when they're doing their planning, because they'll create an annual marketing plan. So it's kind of working together. They're going to do their annual marketing plan at the end of the year for the upcoming year for all 12 months. It's already mapped out, so it's easy to execute. And then they're also going to go through their list and clean it up, move people around. Who's been referring, who hasn't? Is anybody fallen down into D? Has anybody moved up from C to B or B to A or A to A plus? They'll make those adjustments. Now, I've talked to some other folks, by the way, who get even deeper on this. They like to go through it at least monthly and check out their list. And I just talked to a guy, actually, interestingly, in Australia, who's a pretty sharp guy, sells a couple hundred homes a year. And he likes the idea of going through it weekly. You run through your list weekly to make sure that's top of mind for you, who these great people are in your list, and that you should be reaching out and talking to them. So I know that there are various answers in there, but I guess to sum it up, at least once a year, possibly quarterly. If you really want to have a great list, go monthly. And if you're really on top of this thing, you could go weekly. And that's at least a weekly review. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you for it.
We also heard from Brian.
Oh, we got another question. Hold on.
And would you just mention that sometimes people's questions don't show up in the chat right away? And so if for some reason we don't address them, they can always email them and we'll address them in a following week, because that's happened the last 2 weeks.
So if you're not hearing your questions pop up for some reason, sometimes the medium that we're using doesn't show up right away, we're going to go ahead and try to get you an answer back after the session. Go ahead.
We're not trying to ignore anybody. Okay, so Brian Jackson said, I have met several people at open houses that I have added to my database. Some of these leads have been from a couple of years ago and they have not responded to my emails or answered my follow-up calls. Should I just remove them from my database?
Great. Thank you, Brian. So Brian has a question of, hey, I had these old leads. I got an old lead. They're not responding to me. What do I do with them? Do I keep them? Do I delete them? What do I do? Okay, great question. Let's answer it in a couple different ways here. First of all, we're focused here on the past clients and sphere of influence database. And so those people, those leads do not enter into this group, right? Because in order to be in this group, the PCSOI, you have to know them. They have to know you. You'd have to have a relationship to the point that if you saw each other in the grocery store, you could strike up a conversation, right? And that's the SOI test from last week. If they don't meet that SOI test, they're not in these groups or categories, and we're not even talking about them. Now, they may be in a larger database where you're relabeling them separately, right? Old leads or open house leads in this case, or internet leads. There's going to be some other category that you have those folks on. You may end up creating funnels. It depends on how much you want to get into marketing and how big your operation is. You may create funnels and other things over there for them, and that's fine. But I just want to clarify, we're talking about PCSOI, which should be the core of your business. And those folks from an open house from a year or two ago that aren't responding to you, they are not in your PCSOI, not at all. The secondary part of that question, which is, what should you do with them? That's up to you. I recommend that you spend at least 80% of your time working on your PCSOI. That's where the gold is. Somebody that you met in an open house and you don't have any relationship with, there's not much there, is there? So I would spend the majority of my time with my PCSOI. If I wanted to grow my PCSOI and I start to open up my free time, then sure, go back over there and try to recontact those old leads, the open house leads and so forth. You might want to just create a category called old leads. That's the nice thing about electronic databases, is you can keep that all over there somewhere separate and only focus on it when you want. Me personally, if they got that old, they weren't responding, the best thing is to either delete them or put them in some kind of dead category, maybe a secondary kind of dead category like never responded. I've heard of top agents having a category like that, don't respond or never responded, just in case they come back to life somehow. You have your notes on whatever they originally wanted, and you can maybe strike up a conversation. But I wouldn't spend a lot of time with these old dead leads, especially if I had a good PCSOI. The gold is in the PCSOI. Think about Daniel Del Real that we had earlier today that we were talking about. What did he do? He got rid of all outside leads, all outside lead sources, and focused all of his efforts on his PCSOI. It was a bold move. It was very scary for him to do at the time, but he just said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it a year and see what happens. And what great results, 160 referral closings in 1 year. I would say that was a success. And that was by paring down his list and focusing only on those people that met the SOI test. All right, let's see if any other questions came in.
That's all that I show on my end.
All right, so we're good for today. I hope that was helpful. Let's keep going. And oops. Wow, I think I kind of lost my place. All right. We talked about core. We talked about, so let's do this. If you have a friend that is listening, if you have a friend who could benefit from these calls, be sure to invite them. We'd love to have them join us here in the mastermind. Go ahead and send them over to referralmastermindcall.com. That's where they can sign up. When they do that, they'll also get on the notification list so they can come participate in the calls as well. They'll know exactly when they are.
Another comment pop up.
Go ahead.
Susan Murphy just messaged and she said, when are we going to talk about what to do for the past clients or SOI that refer you?
Yeah. So Susan Murphy just asked us, she said, hey, Mike, this is fun, but when are you going to talk about the people who are, when are you going to talk about what to do to get to these people? Susan, if you've been with us, we're building up the whole program, right? And I hope you're seeing that. We had to start with the core of where you start to get your list. Now we're talking about organizing the list, and we're going to move into what we do with the list. And yeah, that's going to be the fun stuff. You're correct. That is going to be the fun and exciting stuff. I can't give you an exact date. We're just building it along. Stick with us, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be good stuff. All right, so hang in there, and thank you so much for your comments. All right, let's wrap it up. It was a lot of fun today. I hope you'll join us on the next mastermind call next Friday, same time, same place. We're going to go over another concept for doubling your referral closings. And if you have additional questions about the program sponsor today was Referral Masters Group inside of eXp Realty. Go back to that agent who invited you to this call, and they'll be happy to answer your questions. And if you want to talk to me one-on-one about setting up or improving your referral program, you can schedule a Zoom call with me for free at freemastermindcall.com. Just go to freemastermindcall.com and you can get on my schedule. So go ahead and write that down. And I hope today's call has been helpful for you. Keep moving forward. Bye.